My name is Nathaniel from the website TorontoBarMitzvahTutor.com. I read Torah in synagogue on a regular basis and am considered a Baal Koreh. I also tutor bar and bat mitzvah students in and around the Toronto, Canada area. One of the frequent questions that I get as a Torah reader is how to identify when the Kamatz vowel is a Kamatz Katan. And that's what I'll be addressing in this video presentation. So first, let's identify what is a Kamatz Katan. So a kamatz is the vowel in the Hebrew alphabet that looks like the English letter T. In the following example, we have the letter bet with the T vowel or kamatz underneath it. The kamatz usually makes an A vowel sound, so therefore with the bet with the T vowel under it, that would sound like ba. But occasionally it makes an O vowel sound, and therefore when the bet has the T vowel under it, it will sound like bo. When it makes an A vowel sound, it's called a Kamatz Gadol, translated as big kamatz. When it makes an O vowel sound, it's called a Kamatz Katan, which is translated as the little kamatz. Okay, so now that we know what a Kamatz Katan is, how do we know a kamatz is a Kamatz Katan? So there are two things we need to know in order to be able to do that. We need to be able to identify which syllables are accented and which ones are unaccented. And we also need to know the difference between open and closed syllables. So let's get started on those. All right, so when you're Torah reading, how do you know when a syllable is accented? So all Hebrew words have at least one accented syllable. In Torah reading, the trope identifies which syllable is accented. So for example, in this word over here, umikdashi, the syllable she has a trope tipcha under it and is therefore an accented syllable. And the rest of the syllables are not accented. There are also secondary accents in many Hebrew words, and they are identified with a vertical line called a meteg. For example, in the word enehem, the syllable a is accented in addition to the syllable hem. Hem has the trope, so it's the primary accent. And a has the meteg, so that's the secondary accent. So both of those syllables are accented, and then the other syllables, ne and hem, just ne, I should say, is unaccented. And that brings us to closed and open syllables. So a closed syllable ends with a consonant sound. For example, the syllable ger is a closed syllable since it ends with the consonant sound r. Open syllables end with a vowel sound. For example, the syllable ba is an open syllable since it ends with the vowel sound a. Okay, so now let's bring it all together. So any kamatz that appears in a syllable that is both closed and unaccented will be a Kamatz Katan. So for example, in the word vayahom, which appears in Exodus 14:24, just before the Shirat Hayam, the kamatz under the letter hey appears in a syllable that is both closed and unaccented. It will therefore be a Kamatz Katan and pronounced hom. Vayahom. In the word davecha, which appears in Deuteronomy 33:25, the last chapter in the entire Torah, the first syllable is pronounced dov, since the syllable is both closed and unaccented.